as the ball going out of bounds before it reached the goal line is the initial signal from Dick Hantak.
Free kick out of bounds. By rule, the ball is placed at the 40-yard line. First down, Tampa Bay.
Well, a pretty good start for Rob Johnson beginning at the 40. The offensive line, which is looking for a better showing for Tampa Bay after last week. And there they are. Michael Pittman and Mike Allstott at running back. Joe Juravicius starts for the injured Keenan McCardell at wide receiver. So from the 40, with two tight ends, the handoff is to Michael Pittman, and Pittman, looking for a breakout game, gets nearly 8 yards on the first play of the game. The Panthers defense, and they have 3 returning starters. Julius Peppers, of course, the big force, the #1 pick. Their defense leads the NFL with 25 sacks. Dan Morgan and Mark Fields return to their positions after being out with injury, as does Reggie Howard at cornerback. And this is the strength of this team, and the rookie from North Carolina, Julius Peppers, who is tied in the NFC with Warren Sapp with 7 sacks to lead the conference. Second down and 3. And again they go to Pittman, and Pittman drives his way into Carolina territory for a first down, picking up 6 yards with Mark Fields making the tackle.
Well, first of all, what great field position Tampa Bay gets because of the kick going out of bounds, and this is going to be a game of field position for Carolina. Huge mistake there. Tampa Bay comes out offensively. They want to be basic in their approach early in this ball game. Get Rob Johnson acclimated to the offense.
First down for the Buccaneers on the 48-yard line of the Panthers. And the end around to Carl Williams. And the great pursuit by the Panthers defense knocks Williams back for a loss of 3. And it was led by Julius Peppers.
You know, sometimes you can just outthink yourself on offense. You're pounding away, and then all of a sudden you come back with the reverse. And Carolina, after dealing with Michael Vick last week, I think they're a little bit better at making sure they contain the outside the way Michael Vick ran around on them.
Aaron Stecker is the setback, and Mike Allstott going in motion on second down and 13. And Rob Johnson getting a rush from the secondary, and he can't get it away. Mark Fields will make the tackle, but it was Reggie Howard who came in untouched from the cornerback position, and another 6-yard loss for the Buccaneers.
Well, Rob Johnson, he's been criticized for taking sacks. Nothing he could do here. Mark Fields is going to come unblocked up inside. You see him there. He gets pressure from Howard on the outside, and then Mark Fields up inside. Just nothing Rob Johnson could do with that.
Reggie Howard returning to action after being out with an ankle injury. It'll be third down and 18. Back on the 44-yard line. The pass out to Stecker in the flat, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds. And fourth down coming up, forcing Tampa Bay to kick. So pushing and shoving here in the early moments with less than 3 minutes gone by. John Fox, in his first year as head coach, has brought a defensive mentality to this Panther team.
And I really think that Rob Johnson is going to get a real appreciation for what Brad Johnson has been going through all season long with this protection. Brad Johnson did a masterful job of just getting the football out on occasion, and Rob's going to have to learn it here today.
Tom Tupa, the well-traveled punter, sometimes quarterback for NFL clubs, with the kick. Steve Smith, and calling for the fair catch. And he looked a little...
Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
Back here in Charlotte, and Randy Pisani doesn't have the luxury Rob Johnson had, a good field position, making his first career NFL start from the 12-yard line. So here he goes. Last week in relief, led the Panthers in rushing with 58 yards and threw for 100 more. And he's going to throw on first down in the pocket, and he is sacked at the 1-yard line. Warren Sapp says, welcome to the league. Warren Sapp, with a big smile on his face, gets his 8th sack of the year.
You're going to see Warren Sapp. Here he is right here, 99 on your screen, and he's coming through, and it's just a mismatch there with Jamar Nesbitt, and he gets right by him, and Fasani doesn't have much of a chance. I'm a little surprised there by the call. Dan Hennings, offensive coordinator for Carolina, choosing to throw the football while backed up with the first start for Randy Fasani.
Well, he's backed up really far down to the 1-yard line. Second down, and the handoff to Lamar Smith. And Smith gets to about the 4-yard line. Derek Brooks in on the tackle. Taking a look now at the offensive unit for the Panthers, and a woeful effort up front last week. They've had musical chairs at left guard. Jamar Nesbitt returns to that position. He was the original starter. Lamar Smith, who just carried the ball in the backfield. Muhsin Muhammad, Steve Smith, the wide receivers, and Wesley Walls in there playing with a broken finger. Third down and 18. Got a lot of yards. And the handoff to Smith. And he'll get it to the 6-yard line. So it'll be fourth down. The Buccaneers, thanks to the sack, have now recorded one in 52 consecutive games, and they've got to be licking their chops at field position now, Troy.
Well, and Carolina's got to be careful. One of the things that they've done in previous games is even on 3rd and long situations, they've stayed in their standard personnel, and they try to use protection. There, they spread them out, and this defensive front of Tampa Bay is much better than the one Carolina faced last week in Atlanta.
Not too much room for Todd Sauerbrunn, who comes in leading the NFC in gross yardage as a punter. Carl Williams backing up to his 43. Williams on the return and is stopped short of midfield. Good hustle by the Panthers special teams led by Brian Allen. No score. No score here in Charlotte as the Buccaneers started their first possession from their 40-yard line, and now will begin from the 48. Rob Johnson in his first start in a Buccaneer uniform. And he's a mobile quarterback, finding an opening and completing the pass for a first down to Joe Juravicius, starting in place of Keenan McCardell.
Well, Kenyatta Walker has the very difficult task today of working against Julius Peppers. That time Peppers coming crashing down, and that allowed Rob Johnson to get to the outside. The one thing that you get with Rob Johnson you never had with Brad Johnson is that mobility, and opening up the offense is much more of the style of John Gruden than what he did in Oakland.
16-yard pickup to the 36. Here is Aaron Stecker. And John Gruden intent on getting Aaron Stecker more touches in this game. Very impressed with what he's done, especially as a ball carrier. And Peppers and Morgan bring him down after a pickup of 3.
Yeah, they're going to try to get Aaron Stecker a little bit more involved in this offense today. It seems like every time he touches the ball, which has not been often enough, he seems to make plays. And to go back with what you said, Chris, earlier, yeah, with Brad Johnson, they were forced more into a 2-back tight end package, a more of a conventional offensive set. But with Rob Johnson, they like being able to spread out the defense and go to some 3 and 4 wides.
Audible here on 2nd and 6. And Johnson swings it out to Allstott, going nowhere, and Mark Fields does not let Allstott get away. He is tough to bring down in any circumstances, and the Bucs will lose 2.
And I think Mike Allstott is one of those guys who they just really haven't been able to find out exactly what his role is going to be with this offense. I mean, he's not a real elusive guy as far as a scat runner and receiver. He's a big, bulky fullback who has some real running ability, but trying to find his niche in this offense has been a real challenge to John Gruden and this offensive staff.
Allstott with a big game against the Browns a couple of weeks ago. Not much last week against the Eagles. It'll be 3rd down and 8, and the Buccaneers will talk it over. Their first time out, no score, with a 3rd and long coming up for Tampa. Of the World Series tonight. How great a World Series has this been? Last night, the Angels come from 5 runs down to beat the Giants to force the deciding game tonight in Anaheim, and you'll see it on Fox. 3rd down and 8. Johnson has time, and going underneath is Joe Jurevicius for the first down of the 20-yard line. Jurevicius wide open and a 13-yard pickup. So Jurevicius the target on 2 big gainers for the Bucs.
Well, they got him in a bunch set right here. You can see Jurevicius coming across right here, and there's a natural pick that occurs. This guy right here had Jurevicius. He gets naturally picked because of the crossing action of the receivers. Frees Jurevicius up for that first down.
And the former New York Giant getting his first start for the Buccaneers with Keenan McCardell out with a fractured bone in his shoulder. Michael Pittman, nothing that time after an impressive first series, gets 1 yard in all.
We talked about Rob Johnson. Throughout the course of his career, he's been sacked once every 7 dropbacks, which is by far the most in the NFL since 1978. The flip side of that, though, is that he looks down the field more than Brad Johnson does. Here's a guy that in yards per attempt is 3rd best of all active quarterbacks in the NFL. So you get a little trade-off, but you're going to anticipate some real negative plays with Rob Johnson, but also some big plays.
2nd down and 9. And a fake pitch. And Johnson goes to the tight end, Ken Dilger, and Dilger is tackled short of the first down by about 3 yards. And Emmanuel McDaniel, the nickelback who had been starting at cornerback, making the stop. So once again, another 3rd down facing the Buccaneers, who are in field goal range. There is Keenan McCardell, a new face on the Tampa Bay receiving corps, who is out with injury.
Yeah, and he was probably the best receiver up to the time of his injury. He became the go-to guy, and him being on the sidelines has allowed Joe Jurevicius an opportunity to start for the first time with Tampa Bay.
And Reggie Barlow is in as well as the 3rd receiver. Handoff to Mike Allstott, does not get it. He is upended inside the 15-yard line, and it was Deion Grant after Brenson Buckner came in to make the play. And so 4th down coming up, and the Panthers defense holds strong.
Brenson Buckner and really this entire defensive line doing a good job getting the surge. A pretty slow developing play there for Mike Allstott. A little bit of a surprise to me. It was about 3rd down and 3 or 4. I thought they might try and get into that bunch formation again and pick somebody, get somebody open quick.
Martin Gramatica has had problems. Missed a 29-yarder last week against the Eagles. This is a 32-yard attempt, and he gets back on the right track. Gramatica's field goal with just under 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter gives Tampa Bay a 3-0 lead. Don King with a different color hair. Gramatica kicking off, and Steve Smith returning for the Panthers. And Smith back returning kicks and punts, and here's why as he turns the corner on the far side. Steve Smith and Carl Hankton, the wide receiver, with a big block, and Smith returns it 51 yards into Tampa Bay territory, giving Fasani a little bit of margin this time.
Well, Steve Smith's one of the really great return men in the National Football League. Was 2nd in the NFL last season, averaging almost 26 yards a return. But he has just been a difference maker. And when you're playing against this Tampa Bay defense, you have to make some special teams plays in order to beat these guys, especially with a young man like Fasani at quarterback.
Well, and Brian Mitchell last week for the Eagles shredded this Tampa Bay special teams unit, and they knew they were into a bigger challenge this week with Steve Smith and his abilities to return kicks.
First down on the 49-yard line. It is still in Carolina territory, and Fasani getting the rush from Sapp and company wisely throws it out of bounds. So the Tampa Bay defense, and they really are responsible for their lead after that sack by Warren Sapp on the first possession. Fasani starting from the 10-yard line, and here they are. Number 1 defense in the NFL, Rice, McFarland, Sapp, and Spires up front. And the linebackers, and Derek Brooks with yet another touchdown last week on a fumble recovery return. Barber and Kelly the corners, and John Lynch and Dexter Jackson are the safeties. 2nd down and 10. They give it to Smith. Lamar Smith trying to fight his way, and he does into Tampa Bay territory for a 2-yard gain as we send it to James Brown and a game break in Los Angeles.
Dick and Chris keeping track of Troy's ex-teammate Emmitt Smith. This is his 2nd carry for 11 yards. He's got 28 in the first quarter, 65 more yards, and he'll break the all-time record by Walter Payton. We'll keep track throughout the day. Back to Dick, Troy, Chris, and Pam.
Has a chance to do it at home, Troy. A lot of people will be disappointed if he doesn't make it today.
Well, Jerry flew a lot of people in, great running backs over the history of this league. They're there at Texas Stadium now.
Blitz on 3rd and 8, and down goes Basani, Simeon Rice, and a flag goes down as well. Simeon Rice, who caused the fumble on McNabb last week, allowing Brooks to run it in for a score. And Todd Stussy recovering the loose ball. 4th down coming up.
Well, you're going to see Rice. Nobody even picks him up. He comes scot-free off the corner, and he's one of the. This is some of what we saw in their game last week against Atlanta. They just turned defensive linemen loose, and it's an offensive line that just is having a hard time understanding their schemes and the protections.
Here's Todd Sauerbrunn to kick it away, and good kick. Carl Williams will let it bounce. And the Panthers, touchback. They could not keep it in play. And Rod Smart, remember he hate me from the XFL, knocked the ball, but 3-0. Fox Tuesday, Lust, Revenge, Secrets, and Lust. So that 70s show saga continues with a brand spanking new full hour. That's this Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, followed by the most anticipated season premiere, 24, right here on Fox.
Everybody got dressed up today, Dick.
Took a long time. They must have started at 5 a.m. to start to paint that face.
They didn't move their clocks back, did they?
No, they no. Rob Johnson has completed all 5 of his passes, starting from the 20-yard line, and finally throws an incomplete. Keyshawn Johnson was his intended receiver.
You know, you can just tell watching Rob Johnson what a difference it is at quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brad Johnson would have had that ball out of there at least 2 to 3 seconds before that. Brad Johnson doesn't want to give up, or Rob Johnson doesn't want to give up on a play. He wants to stand in there. You can see why he takes the number of sacks that he does, but he's also gotten off to a hot start. A real contradiction for me at quarterback as to whether or not this guy's ever going to make it and be a big-time player.
John Gruden said this is a big game for Rob Johnson, his 3rd team, and this pass goes through the hands of the tight end Ken Dilger, bringing up 3rd down and 10.
A little bit interesting there. Julius Peppers covering Ken Dilger on that play, and that just, you watch him right here, he pulls out, it's his own dog, and that puts him on the tight end. Now, obviously, Ken Dilger has an opportunity to catch that run, but it shows you the confidence that this defensive staff has in Julius Peppers and his ability to cover people. He runs a 4.5 40.
And a former basketball player, you look at Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator. Peppers, of course, a 6th man very often for the North Carolina Tar Heels basketball team. 3rd down and 10, and Johnson fakes the swing pass, goes underneath to Ricky Dudley, and the burly tight end fumbles the ball, and Fields had it and lost it, and Tampa Bay gets it back. It was Kerry Jenkins who recovered the fumble, but Mark Fields had an opportunity first.
I think they're going to call it down back at the original spot of the tackle,
35.
so all that excitement was for naught. So Mark Fields doesn't have to go home and beat himself up tonight for missing a ball that was just lying on the ground and an easy scoop.
Yeah, that was the right call, too. The ground clearly knocking the ball out of his hands.
Bucks get a 1st down on the 35. Johnson handing off to Michael Pittman. Pittman picking up about 2. I am impressed with the Panthers defense so far. The question is, will they be on the field too long in this game to make a difference?
Well, that's going to be the question. Yeah, I think if you look at this game and 2 outstanding defensive football teams, the offensive edge would go to Tampa Bay, but it's on the shoulders of this Carolina defense in order to keep them in this game and try to create some turnovers and give good field position to that offense.
They're not going to survive long like that, though.
2nd down. And the pass to Aaron Stecker. Stecker is grabbed down by Dion Grant. about 4 yards shy of the first. And right now, for a game break, here's James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, as we keep an eye on Emmitt Smith, take a look at his 5th carry of the game. This one for 10 yards. He now has 7 carries for 42 yards, needing just 51 now to set the record. Boy, off to an awfully good start. This only in the first quarter. Back to Dick, Troy, and Chris.
I think he's removed any doubt as to whether or not he's going to set that record today.
And it helps to get a bunch early, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
3rd down and 4. Rob Johnson to an open Mike Allstott, and a first down for the Buccaneers. So Tampa Bay going underneath for most of their plays.
Nice job. Doing a nice job out there helping on the end with Julius Peppers. That time Aaron Stecker coming out and helping Kenyatta Walker, allowing this pass to that side to get off. Once you just tie up the pass rusher on that side, it gave Rob Johnson a nice complete view of the field and an easy completion.
Lester Towns replaces Dan Morgan, who had been bothered with a groin injury and missed the game. Carolina minus yardage, and here is Pittman, second effort, and he is driven back. And it's Mark Fields who is the strong man to make the stop as time will run out in this first quarter. That is the end of the opening stanza with the score. The Bucs 3 and the Panthers nothing. The NFL on Fox will continue after these messages. There is Dan Morgan, who has re-injured apparently his groin problem and is on the sidelines. Lester Towns, as we said, replaced him. 2nd down and 9 for the Buccaneers. And down goes Rob Johnson and Chris Jenkins. This is an impressive front 4. The 2nd sack for the Panthers, and they came in leading the NFL. Now they have 27.
Well, and Chris Jenkins, you watch him right here. He's going to come flying up inside, and he beats Kerry Jenkins there. And they tried going to an empty backfield set and spread them out, and that's one of the dangers when you go to that. You'd like to do it with Rob Johnson because he has the ability to move and you can make some bigger plays. But when you do that, you're one-on-one across the board with those 5 offensive line.
Loss of 7. 3rd down and 16 for the Buccaneers, and here comes pressure again on Rob Johnson, being chased back, and he's going to throw this into the bench. Tell you, the Carolina defense has kept Rob Johnson on the move, and neither offensive line has played well thus far.
Well, and these 2 defensive lines are really 2 of the best in the National Football League. But Rob Johnson getting that football out of there after being chased around. But Jack Del Rio, he came with a blitz earlier and got burned on 3rd down with a screen pass. But I really think if he just keeps that consistent pressure, especially on 3rd and long, he's going to give Rob Johnson some problems.
Tom Tupa will be kicking, and Steve Smith, who returned the kickoff 51 yards in the first quarter. Smith at the 19, giving ground, and finally going to the ground at about the 15-yard line. So early in the second, still a tight game, and tempers flaring between Dick Stockton, Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth back with you here in Charlotte. It has been a defensive game thus far with 2 backup quarterbacks handling the chores. Randy Fasani from Stanford starting at the 17-yard line, and they hand off to Lamar Smith. Smith getting about 3. Brian Kelly on the tackle. Smith has yet to complete a pass, has thrown only 1 so far, Troy.
Yeah, Fasani, he's you know, and part of that, obviously you want to complete some passes, but part of that is by design coming into this game. Talking to Dan Henning yesterday, he wanted to keep it very simple and basic coming into this and just not do anything to cost them and give the game away. And so far, it hasn't been pretty, but they've not had the big mistake.
2nd and 7. And this pass is thrown low to the fullback, Brad Hoover.
I'm sorry, but this is getting a little bit comical out here. And I know you've got a young quarterback in there, and they're playing against the #1 defense in football. But at some point, you have to have some positive yards. I think they're -7 on the day here. And I know you want to be conservative and not make the big mistakes, but you also have to take a shot at winning the football game.
Well, it's a 3-0 ball game right now. I mean, they got to be careful. And that throw right there that he made is the throw that he throws the worst. They say he actually throws the ball better when he's throwing it down the field.
Well, he may do that now, or he may take off. 3rd down and 7, off balance, going deep, and trying to make the catch.
There you go.
Did he make it? Yes. He made the catch. It was Steve Smith downfield. One-handed it in the air and managed to hold on against coverage and 39 yards, and they're going to discuss it. And if it's anything close, you know that John Gruden is going to challenge it.
Well, and that's one of the things that Steve Smith.
Passes rule completion. First down.
What a catch this is. I mean, Steve Smith is open and just Fasani lobs it up. He's just going to take one hand and bat it back to the other hand, and then bat it to the other hand and somehow pull it into his chest. That is just phenomenal. What a great play.
So a 51-yard return and then a 39-yard catch as Fasani, off balance, fired it downfield, and as expected, John Gruden is going to challenge this reception.
But that's what I like with Randy Fasani. You got a young quarterback in there. Now he scrambles around, makes a play, heaves one down the field, give your guy a chance. You know, you just can't play small ball and expect to go a 12-play drive down the field against the #1 defense in the NFL. Take a few shots.
Well, and at the same time, those shots aren't always there, Chris. I mean, it's easy to say drop back and throw the ball down the field, but sometimes there's coverage back there, and you're not able to do that. And so he's been. The ball did. It appeared that the ball hit the turf there, and they'll call that one back. But you can bet all week long Randy Fasani has had it drilled into his head that, hey, don't make the big mistake. And so if he doesn't have a shot that he thinks is legitimate, he's going to be a little conservative. And right now they're not in a position where they have to force anything. It's a 3-0 ball game.
That catch was made right in front of John Gruden. I think John Gruden had a better look than any official, and so I think he feels confident that they're going to reverse it. Indisputable visual evidence has to be the byword here to change the original call of a reception. But Fasani running for his life, and that was a pretty good throw on his back foot, Troy.
Well, not only his back foot, but it was a good throw because he had to move to his left, and it's very hard for a right-handed quarterback to get turned and get his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage to make that throw. And Steve Smith, that's, you know, whether this was a catch or not, it was just a tremendous individual effort on his part trying to haul that one in.
Dick Hancock has seen enough.
After reviewing the play, the ball bounced on the ground prior to the receiver gaining possession. It will be 4th and 7 on the 20-yard line. Tampa Bay is not charged a timeout.
Fasani took a pretty good shot at the end of that play. And Troy and I are going to debate this one all day long, I suppose. But when I look at this team and this offense and what they did last week when they were trying to work the ball in a normal, methodical manner down the field, they were terrible. Their plays came when Fasani was scrambling around, acting like a kid, throwing the football around. And I think if they just try and be methodical against this Tampa Bay defense, they get beat about 30-0. And look at the Cincinnati Bengals. How about that?
Why do you have an interest in that team?
I don't know.
Todd Sauerbrunn will punt, and Carl Williams is back for the Buccaneers. And this is going to be a low bouncing kick, and it takes a Carolina hop. Must be the new blue jerseys they're wearing for this one game, and it'll be down at the 17-yard line where Tampa Bay will go to work. And I have to tell you, as you look at that last play, Derek Brooks did a good job of restraint here to make sure he wasn't called for roughness. The defensive secondary of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in leading the NFL in overall defense. And you can see on the bottom left of your screen, Game 7 of the World Series. It's been a great series thus far. And the finish tonight. First down at the 17-yard line. And our first penalty of the game. And it comes in the second quarter.
Like Sean Gilbert got rolled.
Encroachment defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Sean Gilbert, 94, and 98 is Shane Burton, but it was Gilbert guilty of the foul and a 5-yard penalty. So it'll be 1st and 5 for Rob Johnson.
Except for those 318-pound guys that hit the brakes when they, when they hit go. Stop is a more difficult proposition.
3-0 Tampa Bay. Rob Johnson to the air. Incomplete, and getting the hit was Keyshawn Johnson, and it was Terry Cousin, and a flag is down. A late flag thrown at the secondary. Initially, it looked like the ball and the defender arrived at the same time, and it was a clean play by Cousin.
Well, on first view from up here, it looked like it was fine, and the ball was uncatchable. You watch.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 21.
Well, I don't know.
We were penalized from the previous spot, 15 yards, first down.
I don't agree with that at all. He's making a play on the ball. The ball was thrown on the inside. Cousin is the one who actually had the opportunity to make that play, and I didn't see anything that warranted a face mask call, that's for sure.
That's called an oops. That's called, well, it wasn't pass interference, but I threw my flag, so let's make something else up. John Fox has the right to be upset.
You'd have to they say that was a ticky-tack foul, as you'd see, and it'll be automatic first down on the 37 for Tampa Bay. Aaron Stecker lines up in the backfield and gets the call going outside, and Stecker finds open field. Aaron Stecker, now you see why John Gruden, as a flag goes down back of the line of scrimmage, was intent on using Stecker more. So Aaron Stecker picking up 25 yards, but this may come back.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming back, and you can see Aaron Stecker definitely provides a spark for this offense, and I don't know who the call is going to be against, but I know Kenyatta Walker looked to do
it. Offense, number 67, 10-yard penalty, repeat the down, first down.
Well, that explains why it looked like he did a pretty good job. Here it is, Kenyatta Walker working against Julius Peppers, and he's trying to get him hooked, trying to get him to the outside so that Stecker can get to the corner, and he was unable to get his body in position, so instead he grabbed the jersey, and the official was there to call it.
Well, the sad thing is it looked like that Stecker was already around the corner. He really didn't have to hold him.
Nonetheless, they nullify a 26-yard gain, so instead of a first down in Panther territory, first down and 20 for the Buccaneers on their 27. Tampa Bay's defense keeping them in the game. And here is Rob Johnson, and Johnson is sacked for the third time, and a loose ball, a fumble picked up by the Panthers inside the 15. Brinson Buckner, after Julius Peppers knocked it away from Rob Johnson, who looks disheveled as he comes off the field, and a big break for Carolina.
Well, you watch Julius Peppers again. He's going against Kenyatta Walker. This is the matchup we talked about, and Kenyatta Walker just oversteps it and gives the lane for Julius Peppers coming underneath.
That is Rob Johnson's career in a nutshell right there, and I know that wasn't necessarily his fault, but Rob Johnson playing behind this defensive line is going to be very difficult. Brad Johnson in the past in that same situation throws the ball away, takes an incompletion, whatever the case. Rob Johnson now has been sacked, I believe, 3 times already today.
Yeah, and the other thing is keeping him healthy, and you see right there he's limping around on the sidelines. That was another problem with him in Buffalo, is that he came out of a lot of games with injury, and you're right, Chris, that really exemplified.
Tampa Bay is challenging the ruling on the field that his knee was down.
Well, John Gruden trying to make it 2 for 2.
The ruling on the field was fumble.
And they're going to look at this one. John Gruden was successfully challenging an obvious call. What about this one?
You don't really get a good look as to where Brad is on this, or excuse me, Rob. Well, you know, it came out.
Yes, it came
out, and you know, and Chris made a great point there that really typifies what he has been as a quarterback, and I understand it as well as anybody that there's a lot of times there's a hits that you don't see coming, but you've got to know when you're getting ready to take the hit and where people are, and when that is coming, you've got to be able to secure the football.
You know, there's nothing wrong for a quarterback throwing an incomplete pass. And it's so hard for young quarterbacks to get that through their brain. And I think that Randy Fasani has been having that same problem in this game. Sometimes you step up, it's not there, throw the football away. You can't always get a big play in this game.
But I would argue, Chris, that Fasani is making his first start. I mean, last week he played a little bit. He's making his first start. I mean, he's got a little bit of a grace period right here. Rob Johnson's been in this league long enough to know some of the things that he should do in situations, and that's the thing that he's got all the ability in the world. You watch him out there in practice, he can throw it with anybody, but it's just when he gets in game situations, sometimes he fails to remember the situations that he's in.
Yeah, we're not talking about two quarterbacks on equal footing. This is Rob Johnson's 28th career start to one for the rookie Fasani. And right now, Rob Johnson isn't getting the better of it by any stretch. Well, here's Dick Hantak. And he should tell us that the challenge has been denied, and that should cost Tampa Bay a timeout.
Play, the ball came out of the quarterback's hands prior to the knee being down. Tampa Bay is charged a timeout, which is their second timeout. Tampa Bay is also out of challenges for the rest of the game.
And that's significant.
That's very significant, especially because John Gruden likes to challenge so many calls. And then you look at what we talked about earlier in this ball game, that the defense for Carolina was going to have to step up, create some turnovers, give field position, and they've done their job right here.
Well, we were talking about it earlier with Fasani, and that's part of the reason I feel like with him, for him to sit in the pocket and have to make those kind of decisions is just not the right way to go with him. He's not experienced enough. He's not ready for that type of game. Now, you get him out of the pocket, you get him scrambling around like he was against Atlanta, you never know what's going to happen. And in talking to the Tampa Bay defenders yesterday, that X factor really concerned them. They were worried about the fact that, hey, we don't know what this guy's going to do. And they weren't afraid of him sitting in the pocket and making throws. What they're worried about is when he gets there out and starts playing in the schoolyard.
Well, I know this. I know Dan Hennings, the offensive coordinator for Carolina, one thing he is concerned about is whether or not Fasani stays healthy in this ball game, because Hasselbeck is the backup and he doesn't know the offense. So
there's Dan Henning on the left, a distinguished career. So it's 1st and 10 on the 11-yard line of the Buccaneers. Here's Fasani, and Carolina looking for points, and the pass thrown out of the end zone. Now this is a situation, and a flag down back behind the line of scrimmage as the Buccaneers put pressure on Fasani.
I think they're going to get Shelton Quarles for roughing the passer.
Personal foul. Defense number 53. Helmet-to-helmet blow will penalize half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Yep.
You know, it's so hard. It is so hard, and I know what the rule is, and you cannot lead with a helmet. You can't go helmet-to-helmet on a quarterback.
Yep.
But there was nothing vicious about that.
No.
You could see Shelton Quarles. It was not a hard hit. He tried pulling off. It really is a fine line for these defenders.
Hand this football to Lamar Smith 3 straight times right here.
1st and goal now on the 5, and here is Lamar Smith with his first of 3 straight carries, according to Chris. He gets a couple of yards. Yep. And I'll tell you one thing, Carolina has to come out with points here, and 3 would be bittersweet. 7 is what they need after this possession.
Yeah, they need 7, and they're bringing in their big boys. They've got Brad Hoover coming in and Chris Mangum, and those are the guys you need out there when you're going to come in a goal line situation. It looks like they've got the people in that they're going to run the football here.
And remember, Fasani is a threat running in his own right. 2nd down and goal. They give it to Lamar Smith, and he'll get it to about the 2-yard line. Dexter Jackson and a bunch of white shirts close it up, bringing up 3rd and goal.
You know, Chris, though, one of the things that you'd really like, I mean, as a quarterback, I think to really get this guy going, I mean, let him throw a touchdown pass down here.
Oh, good
Let him
Lord.
do a little
never
play
change,
action.
will you? This guy, I'm more qualified to throw a touchdown pass than he is.
What about a rollout? He doesn't have that much.
That's fine. But tell him in his headset, don't you dare throw this football. You can roll out, and you can try and score and run it in. Don't you throw it and mess up my 3 points.
Well, they got 3 tight ends. Tampa Bay's defense best in the NFL, 17% defense, and there is the play action and the pass, and did he stay in? No, it was the tight end Wesley Walls, and he did not stay in the field of play. 4th and goal coming up, caught the pass, but it was too far.
He had him, Dick. He had him all the way, and what's happened is here's Wesley Walls going to the corner, and Fasani
You can't be more wide open.
You cannot be more wide open. And Fasani, he hesitates whenever he's got the easy throw. That's what the coaches were telling me coming into this game. He had Wesley Walls open right from the beginning. He hesitated just long enough for Wesley Walls to catch that out of bounds.
Shane Graham looking to tie the score, and he does. So the turnover comes back to haunt the Bucs. They don't give up the touchdown, but they give up the field goal, and a lot of help for the official on that incomplete call.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Well, Randy Fasani still has not completed a pass today, but the Carolina Panthers tie the score after the fumble by Rob Johnson. Graham with the field goal, and we're tied 3-3 with nearly 5 minutes gone by. Warren Sapp and the ferocious Tampa Bay defense had a short field that time. Aaron Stecker on the return for the Buccaneers, and Stecker is down at the 28-yard line. Well, tonight will be one of the magical moments, not of October, but any year. The 7th game of the World Series. Barry Bonds has 4 home runs, and the California Angels, with the great comeback, trailing 5-0. And what is the key to the California or the Anaheim Angels' hopes in the World Series?
The monkey.
Every Angel fan knows it's the monkey.
Yes.
I mean, did this guy do it for him last night?
You know what? If they win, he gets a full share.
Yeah, but you almost shook his ears off last night sitting in your room.
Gripping hard was Mr. Aikman, and the Giants and the Angels. Imagine the Giants.
What a game that was last night.
And what a game tonight it should be. First down on the 28 of the Bucs. Here's Pittman. Michael Pittman getting about 5 yards on first down.
I think Michael Pittman's a little fired up coming out here because they really have challenged him in this ball game. John Gruden let it be known right away that Aaron Stecker was going to get more touches today. Michael Pittman, of course, brought over, signed a big contract, 5 years, almost $9 million. Was supposed to be the man. They let Warwick Dunn go. But so far hasn't really produced, and they're looking for him to break out.
Although he is their leading rusher and receiver coming into the game. 2nd and 5, and Allstott won't get the first down, and he is knocked back. And a good swarm to the ball defense by the Panthers, led by Dion Grant. So it'll be 3rd and 1 for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and so far, all this time's passed here in the first half, and Keyshawn Johnson still hasn't caught a pass. And he's usually the guy, the go-to guy. And I had a chance to talk to Keyshawn before the game, and he was excited about coming out of here and getting to play with Rob Johnson, and really likes the velocity that he has on the football. In fact, he says that Rob Johnson's passes get on him so fast that he hadn't been used to that, and he dropped 6 passes this week in practice, trying to get acclimated to the velocity of Rob Johnson's passes.
Tampa Bay with their 3rd and final timeout. A challenge which was rejected. This game a lot tighter than many people anticipated. Tampa Bay 5-2, trying to get back to winning ways, as are the Panthers, who have lost 4 in a row after winning their first 3. 3rd and 1, and they go to Allstott. Why not? And Mike Allstott has the first down. Brenson Buckner on the tackle, but all you have to do if you're number 40 is just to lean forward and you've got it.
Mike Allstott to me would be a great closer. You know, in the game against Cleveland, they used him in the second half of that ball game. He rushed for like 120-something yards, 40-something yards, whatever it was in the 4th quarter. He's a guy when the defense is getting tired and they're not flying around and they're not as bold as they are in the beginning of the game, he is just about impossible to tackle.
From the 39, Rob Johnson stumbles going back, and he is going to take off and run out of bounds after a gain of about 5 yards. Game between backup quarterbacks. Rob Johnson in his first start for Tampa Bay, and Randy Fasani, the rookie in his first start.
Well, you take a look here at Michael Pittman, and he got double coverage. He's got Hannibal Navy's a linebacker that's over the top of him, and then he's got a safety also there. That's respect for running back. And Rob Johnson was trying to go to him with the football, but when we talk about his mobility, this is what he can do, and does a nice job of making something out of nothing.
Most of his passes have gone to running backs thus far. 2nd down and 5. This time going downfield, and catching it is Juravicious. Juravicious making the most of his opportunity with McCardell hurt, and a 15-yard gain. That first down.
That was the best play by Rob Johnson all day. That time against a zone defense, Juravicious. Johnson had to wait for him to run by the 2nd linebacker in order for him to be open. Did a great job, got it in there before Deion Grant could come over and make the play.
Juravicious talked this week that he wants to bring some real toughness to this football team and aggressiveness. He's a big physical receiver, and you see there, even after he makes the catch, the pounding that he's able to provide on these smaller defensive players.
First down for Rob Johnson and the Bucs on the Carolina 41. Swing pass to Stecker. Stecker gets by Howard and is stopped after a 6-yard pickup to the 36 by defensive lineman Mike Rucker.
You really got the impression, talking with John Gruden last night, and it looks like Stecker's limping off a little bit, that nobody's job is safe on this Tampa Bay offense. They really have been not happy at all with the production that they've gotten, and especially last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. So Aaron Stecker with a shot, Joe Juravicious with a shot. They're going to look at Carl Williams and Reggie Barlow. They're going to take a look at a lot of people looking for somebody to jumpstart this offense.
2nd and 4, the pitch to Pittman. And Pittman stopped about a yard shy of the sticks, bringing up 3rd down, and a good play by Brad Jackson, the linebacker. And down on the field for the Bucs is Kerry Jenkins, the left guard.
Well, and if Kerry Jenkins is in fact coming out of the ball game, and Todd Washington will be stepping in to take his place. Take a look, he's a left guard, 71, and right here he goes down, and he was hurt when he went down. It's hard to tell from that exactly what it was, but he went down trying to roll up on the defensive lineman and got hurt in the process.
Still working on Jenkins. These teams meeting as rivals in the NFC South. The first time they have been in this new division. New Orleans off to the 6-1 start. The Bucs a game behind, and Carolina, after going 3-0, have lost 4 in a row. It's been a pretty tight race, and Atlanta doing a lot better than expected, guys.
Yeah, I think there's some, you look at it, and in a division to where a lot of people just thought Tampa Bay would run away with it, all of a sudden New Orleans, all the distractions and things that they had to deal with last year, I don't think anybody expected them to come into this season and have the year that they're having so far, and right now they're leading that division.
But the Bucs feel very good about themselves. They feel that they can win this game as Jenkins gets up and goes 6-2, and that would be the best record in this franchise history for a half a season. They know that they have 5 of their last 8 games at home, including the bye week. So they would be sitting well regardless of what the New Orleans Saints do today.
And you have to remember what this Carolina team had done in the 3 games they lost before the Atlanta game. Those were all very, very close games, and probably the most heartbreaking of all, the Dallas Cowboys, a team they completely dominated and really just gave the game away. Deion Grant allowed a long touchdown pass to Joey Galloway. Arizona game, they had a shot. Jake Plummer, a last-minute drive, and against the Green Bay Packers, they missed the chip shot field goal to send that one in the overtime. So they have been very competitive, with the exception of the game last week against the Atlanta Falcons.
Todd Washington does replace Kerry Jenkins at left guard. 3rd and 1. And the swing pass to Pittman. He slips and will lose yardage. Michael Pittman slipped, and Terry Cousin wouldn't let him get away. And a loss on the play, and 4th down coming up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they send their field goal team in.
Yeah, and I think that typifies what John Gruden thinks of this offensive line, or if it doesn't, it should, because you're 3rd and 1, and you've got Mike Alstott back there, or Michael Pittman. You should be able to pick up 1 yard running behind that offensive line, but instead they try spreading them out a little bit and throwing the football.
And now they're going to punt. They won't go for the long field goal with Gramatica, not taking any chances. So Tom Tupa coming in and directional kicking, going for the corner, but it goes into the end zone for the touchback. And the Panthers will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Well, you talked about all the close losses, Chris, of these Carolina Panthers after winning 3 games in week number 4 against the Packers. Down 17-14. Shane Graham missed a 24-yard field goal attempt with 16 seconds left. Then Jake Plummer rallied the Cardinals from 10 down to win it 16-13 on this field goal by the other Gramatica. In week 6 against Dallas, Quincy Carter, 2 touchdown passes, including the game winner, and Dallas wins by 1. And only 1 game was a blowout, and that, of course, was last week against Atlanta, as Rodney Peete on the sidelines, hoping to get back soon. Muhsin Muhammad with his first catch of the game, and he gets 4 yards.
Now, I realize on that last call by John Gruden, Kerry Jenkins out of the game, maybe he's just not comfortable running the football. But it really ended up being a disastrous call. Not only did it move them backwards 3 or 4 yards, then moved them out of field goal range, didn't pick up the first down, had to turn it over, and then you end up with a net, 13-yard punt on the play.
Hassani's first completion today, completed 6 for 100 yards last week against Atlanta. Here's Lamar Smith trying to move the pile, and will still be about 3 yards short of the first down.
And what you're starting to see Tampa do on defense more and more now is they're bringing down a safety. With John Lynch on the previous play, this past play was Dexter Jackson, and they're going to create an 8-man front, and they're going to try to stop Lamar Smith and obviously make Randy Fasani throw this football to beat him.
But I've got to think that Carolina is absolutely thrilled with where they are in this football game.
No question. No question.
3-3, 4.5 to go against the best defense in the league. I'd say so. Third down and 3. Flag is down, and the ball knocked down. John Lynch bats it away from Wesley Walls, but a penalty marker has been thrown.
Illegal formation. Offense only had 6 men on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
And you go back and you take a look at Randy Fasani on this play, and here's another example of that. When he's a little indecisive, he just doesn't throw the ball with great effectiveness or velocity. And here he just lays this one rather than stepping into the throw. He had Wesley Walls for the first down. He just failed to fire it and put the velocity on it to get it there in time.
He short-armed that ball. He didn't even follow through on it.
Todd Sauerbrun's kick fielded by Carl Williams. And Williams goes down at the 26. Carolina has 1 first down on a roughing penalty, none by their offense, yet they're tied 3-3. Well, next week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader beginning with America's #1 pregame show as JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy get you ready. Then Randy Moss and the Vikings, then the 49ers and the Raiders. That'll be a battle in Oakland. Crosstown rivals go at it as Jerry Rice goes against the 49ers for the first time in his career. Other regional action. Joe Buck will be joining you guys, rejoining, I should say, next week in Oakland.
And we will miss you, Dick Stockton.
We certainly will. It's been fun, hasn't it?
Dripping with sincerity, but I believe that's the case, and it was for me. But that should be a heck of a game next week. Huh?
Should be a great game, no question.
First down on the 27 for Tampa Bay. Carolina's defense has been outstanding, and they come up quick. Pass quickly thrown and caught by Juravicius. That is his 4th catch of the game. Terry Cousin all over him.
And I like what they're doing with Rob Johnson now. Every time they take a 5 or 7-step drop back there and they allow him to sit in the pocket too long, bad things happen. Whether it's his fault, whether it's the offensive line's fault, I don't know. He's having a decent day when he does get the pass off, though. Now just get him back quickly, 3 steps, 5 steps, get the football out, get a little rhythm going.
Well, they brought a little blitz on that last play, and Jeff Christie and Cozy Coleman did a nice job picking it up, giving Rob Johnson time.
2nd and 5, here's Michael Pittman. And Pittman is upended by Sean Gilbert. Pickup of 2 yards, 3rd down coming up.
Of course, you mentioned Cozy Coleman. He had was arrested this week on a domestic dispute charge, and actually, apparently, allegedly slapped his girlfriend. And I've got to tell you, I have an issue with his playing in the ball game, just like I had an issue when Randy Moss was here and when he played in the ball game after his incident where he ran over the police officer. I think sometimes you have to stand up and be accountable as an organization and as a player.
3rd down and 3 with just under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Rob Johnson, protection breaks down, now being chased and fires into the Tampa Bay bench, bringing up 4th down. So once again, Carolina Panthers under first-year head coach John Fox has his defense playing at a high level.
Well, and here's Keyshawn Johnson, and once he sees that Rob Johnson's going to start scrambling, he has got to try to find a window to give him a place to throw the football, and right there, he really didn't do anything. I don't know if he just didn't feel like Rob Johnson could find him or not, but you're not the one who needs to make that decision. You've got to try to give your quarterback somewhere to throw the football when he's out there scrambling on the corner.
Tom Tupa kicking again. Steve Smith, the ever dangerous Steve Smith, hemmed in. And you could hear it up here. Down he goes at the 32-yard line with 2:34 to go. And again, these teams have been going at each other from the virtual start of the game.
I don't know. Just watching the field, just get the feeling that the Carolina Panthers, after being embarrassed by Atlanta last week, maybe a little bit more ready to play this ball game today. Tampa Bay had a very tough assignment last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Very disappointed, a big rivalry now with the Philadelphia Eagles, and they came in here and had to think after watching the tape that they were going to pretty well manhandle this Carolina team.
Sometimes you play well after your worst game of the year. First down. Lamar Smith, former Miami Dolphin, picking up 3 yards. The Panthers have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, including the stoppage at the 2-minute warning. Atlanta leading New Orleans. You saw Detroit up over Buffalo 14-7 moments ago.
That's a little bit discouraging on that last play for Carolina. Tampa Bay defensively went to their cover 2 coverage, and what that means is that there then is only 7 men up front to try to stop the running game. You have to be able to run the football against that defense. They didn't get a whole lot out of that one.
Imagine the longest play from scrimmage for the Panthers is 4 yards, yet they're tied with Tampa Bay. 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports Ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Panthers surprisingly in a 3-3 tie with rookie Randy Fasani in his first NFL start against this terrorizing defense from Tampa Bay. And lost this ball, and it's caught by Muhsin Muhammad, who has caught both passes completed by Fasani. This for 10 yards and the longest gain from scrimmage for the Panthers today.
Well, here's a good look at Randy Fasani's feet, and you always try to look at a quarterback when he's young as to how well he moves around and makes throws, and does a nice job right there of hanging in the pocket with pressure around him, making a throw here to Muhsin Muhammad, and really nice touch there by Randy Fasani on that pass.
First down, Carolina on their 45. Play action, and with the ball is Fasani stepping up and going deep, and John Lynch picks it off for Tampa Bay. There were 3 white shirts in the neighborhood, and downfield was Steve Smith, but it was John Lynch making the interception to turn it over to the Buccaneers at 1:17 left.
Well, then you get the inexperience of Randy Fasani right back on the next play. They're going to try and come with the fake reverse, and there's just no way, no possibility with John Lynch out here playing center field that ball is going to be completed. And honestly, if he didn't get there, probably someone else would have.
Well, you're the guy that said he ought to start throwing it downfield.
Hey, I'm all for taking a shot every once in a while, but you also have to take a look down the field, and if there's somebody behind your receiver, you can't just lob it in there.
You got to play smart, Chris, let's face it.
Well, no question about it, but that last pass was their first down of the game, and at some point you do have to try and open up the offense and do something with it, but you just can't make that kind of a throw and make that kind of decision.
Buccaneers have no timeouts remaining, and the handoff to Pittman will lose at least a yard on first down as we wind down to nearly a minute remaining. And it was Julius Peppers who is showing why he was picked in the number 2 slot by John Fox and Carolina, who decided to eschew drafting Joey Harrington, the quarterback, and going with Peppers.
And I think if you look at this defense, they're really doing an outstanding job. And when you watch them, they don't really jump out at you. Their front 7 is a good group, but they're not a Philadelphia Eagle or a Tampa Bay type defense that jumps out at you. But they have been solid, and they've been solid here again today.
2nd and 12, and here's Pittman. Not much there. Tampa Bay has to be concerned because they're playing a Carolina team. They may have a good defense, but Tampa Bay expects to be amongst the elite in the NFC, and right now they don't seem to have much firepower on offense. They haven't shown
it all season with this offense.
32 seconds remaining for the Buccaneers. Aaron Stecker has blockers. Trying to get out of bounds and cannot, as Brad Jackson makes the tackle, and the timeout called by Carolina. They'll have 1 left with 24 seconds to go, and 4th down. A critical special team sequence coming up with the dangerous Steve Smith. Has returned to kickoff 51 yards already today. And a low bounding kick, and Smith backing up at the 25. Flag is down, and that appears to be an illegal block by Carolina, which with 10 seconds to go could nullify any shot they have of getting anything.
Yeah, they got Hannibal Navies there blocking in the back, and not very smart. Steve Smith trying to make something happen. Once you realize you're not going to be able to get outside on the corner, really you got to be smart and be careful with the football, because right now with 1 timeout, I don't think Carolina's going to try to do anything that's going to jeopardize this tie ball game going in at halftime, and they've got to be thrilled.
Back during the return, number 53 will penalize half the distance to the goal line. First down.
You'll see Hannibal Navies right there, right here, making the block in the back. And they always tell you, if you can't see their front numbers in the chest, stay away from them.
But you know, 10 seconds to go, why not take a shot?
Yeah.
You know, here's a guy that's returned 3 kicks for touchdowns last year between kickoffs and punts, and
he's angry at something.
Well, I think Steve Smith's angry a lot. You know, I see him on film, and that's just him. I mean, he may be in a good mood right there from what I've seen. He's just a guy he's a pretty fiery guy, and you know, that's probably why he had the success last year as a rookie returning kicks, Pro Bowl selection.
They're going to take a knee here and run out the clock.
It's been a great first half, though, for Carolina.
A moral victory.
Absolutely a great first half for Carolina.
Their defense set the tone, and John Gruden, you're right, Troy, has to worry about not only the offense today, but his offense in general if he's going to contend with New Orleans in this division. Because meanwhile, playing with a rookie quarterback, Randy Fasani, in his first start against a vaunted defensive team. Now, both defenses have played well, but Carolina has played well enough to hold Tampa Bay even at 3-3. And that is the end of the first half with the score 3-3. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report.
This is Derek Brooks of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He supports the United Way. He has a way with kids.
Okay. Who wants to sing my favorite song? Good.
Who's my favorite player? Mr. Derek Brooks. 153 tackles, 36 assists, 2 times All-Pro.
How many?
3 times All-Pro.
Better. Let's start again.
Who's my favorite player? Derek.
Good.
Derek.
Well, he's in the wrong place, but right now the Carolina Panthers are in the right place, tied with Tampa Bay 3-3, couple of field goals. And one guy has class of this trio. Guess who it is? What surprises you in the first half, guys, in this tie score?
You know, I hate to Troy having on that jacket.
I hate to say it, but nothing surprises me, really. I mean, we knew coming in it was going to be a defensive ball game. We didn't expect Randy Fasani to light it up. He certainly has not done that. I don't know. What about you, Chris?
16 yards of offense. That's a little bit surprising out of Carolina. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I've just got to believe that Rob Johnson did get out of my way. You're right in my way, man.
All right, take a shot at Chris again.
You wanted to cover up Chris's face.
Normally they see you walking away, but
for Rob Johnson, you know, when he got the passes off, he did okay. But the problem was that he took the sacks, and those sacks ended up being the 3 points, which was really all Carolina could have possibly hoped for out of this first half with the way they played on offense.
Well, the Panthers will get it first as Gramatica kicks off to Steve Smith. Steve Smith sheds one man, and a good return, and a flag down at midfield. 3-3 the score. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers team records for the fewest yards allowed in a half and the fewest yards passing allowed.
That's about what we expected, wasn't it?
Back during the return, number 88, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Take a look at the halftime statistics. 15 yards allowed in the first half, fewest, and -4 passing. Those are records for the Buccaneers defense.
Defense, I don't know if we've talked much about it, but Tampa Bay's defense is pretty good. You know?
Yeah, it is. It's number 1 in the league.
This just
and Carolina, I mean, coming into this game, had not really done anything offensively. Every game that they had, and we talked about the game against Green Bay and these other games, they have done it by defense. They certainly have not done it by a very prowess offense, and it's going to take that defense again today if they're going to win. The turnover that set up their field goal earlier.
First down on the 27. Randy Pisani has completed 2 passes, hands off to Lamar Smith. Lamar Smith trying to drag the defender and does a great job of dragging Dexter Jackson, the free safety, about 5 extra yards, and picks up 16 to the 42.
That time they caught John Lynch coming on a safety blitz, but he was coming to the outside and just popped it right up the middle. And to be honest with you, I've been surprised we haven't seen more of Lamar Smith here in the first half, especially after the fact that Deuce Staley gouged this defense for 152. Yes, some of that was at the end of the game during mop-up time, but at least it was a formula for Carolina today.
Smith has carried 9 of the 10 times. Pisani has had 1 carry for -1. And a first down. They go back to Lamar Smith and spins his way past the 45-yard line. And a 3-yard pickup. Shelton Quarles, the middle linebacker, making the play. 2nd and 7. Warren Sapp has a lot to say, apparently, to Dick Hantak.
Yeah, and here's Warren Sapp and Todd Stussy going after it, and a good job by Stussy there. And these offensive linemen, they hear Sapp talk all week long coming into these games. They can't wait to take a shot at him.
Stussy and Sapp went at it when Todd was with Minnesota for many years. Here is Smith again. Lamar Smith, first down or close to it, as he is tackled in Tampa Bay territory at the 47-yard line by Brian Kelly. And let's see if he has enough. He does. It'll be a first down for the Panthers.
You know, Warren Sapp's a guy that wants to rush the passer, and he will admit that to you. He'll tell you, I play the run on the way to the quarterback, but sometimes when he wants to get up the field, it can create some running lanes in there. That's the reason Booger McFarland has been so important to be his partner on that defensive line.
Lamar Smith gained 154 yards against Minnesota earlier in the year, and they're going to him heavily, but coming back is Dexter Jackson, who storms the line and holds Smith to a gain of only 1.
Yeah, and I think it's good right now that they've come out and recognized that if we're going to get this thing going, we've got to be able to run the football. And Lamar Smith has been able to do that as far as accumulating yards. He's 4th in the NFC in yards rushing. However, he's 34th in the National Football League on yards per attempt.
Nearly doubling his output of the game on this drive alone. And they send the fullback, Brad Hoover, wide to the right. And there is the pass, and it's caught by Muhsin Muhammad, and a first down for the Carolina Panthers inside the Bucs 30-yard line. 17-yard pickup, pretty nifty rollout and play, and a good pass.
Yeah, and he knew where he was going with the football this time. Fasani and Muhsin Muhammad were working on this very throw in pregame warm-ups, and he came out. You saw that he was decisive as to where he was throwing it and delivered a nice ball.
But this is where Randy Fasani is comfortable, out away from the pocket, so he doesn't have to deal with Sapp and Rice and all those guys inside. Getting him outside, really, you could just see the comfort level grow.
And a first down on the Bucs 29. Here's Smith. Smith has been a workhorse. That is his 13th carry of the game, picking up 3 yards.
Yeah, and it's really good play calling right now by Dan Henning, and running Lamar Smith up inside, and then by running him up inside, it makes the defense collapse on the running game, and that allowed, on that last play, Randy Fasani to be able to get out on the corner and give him some time to make that throw.
The one thing we haven't seen from Fasani, which we saw last week in Atlanta, though, was his ability to run the football. Maybe they get him out and just run it from time to time.
He gained 58 yards in that loss. Drops back this time and has Muhsin Muhammad, and it's over his head. He had beaten the defense, did Muhammad. That was headed for the end zone.
Well, that was close. I know the Carolina Panthers felt like if they could get up on the safeties, they could have a chance to make some big plays. You see Muhsin Muhammad, he's going to go to the corner. He's working off of Dexter Jackson. Dexter Jackson makes a bad angle, and he's been known to do this in the past few ball games. They had an opportunity. They failed to capitalize.
3rd down and 7. And if nothing else, the Panthers would like to move it closer for a possible field goal attempt if they don't get the first down. Got to get it inside the 20-yard line. And here is Fasani as a ball carrier. Gets a few extra steps before he goes out of bounds at the 17. He's got the first down. 9-yard pickup. And right now, Carolina exuding confidence after they know their defense has done the job.
Well, here he is sprinting out. You see right here his ability to get out on the pocket, and also he's not a guy who is looking to go down on that play. I mean, he's trying to jump over people. And
yes, sir.
He's also, you know, Randy Fasani, when he was at Stanford in college, he was a 3rd-string quarterback as a sophomore, and he asked to go play linebacker, and he actually started 2 games as a sophomore at Stanford at middle linebacker.
Yeah, Dennis Green was the coach of that team, and he went to linebacker and then came back when Bill Walsh was the head coach. And a flag down thrown before the play.
We might get him a new shoe deal.
Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Delay of the
Still first
game,
down.
and Booger McFarland nursing the right hand, which is already in a soft cast as he walks off the field.
And that is absolutely huge for the Carolina Panthers, because that should really open some things up, running lanes in the middle for Lamar Smith.
Chardrick Darby, number 91, replaces McFarland up front. McFarland has been a well-kept secret. Everyone talks about Sapp, but McFarland has been a big part of that defense up front. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Handoff to Lamar Smith. Not sure if that was the smoothest handoff you want on that play. And a minimal gain.
No, but the one thing that they are doing is they're staying committed to it. And well, you get to running the football, and it's hard early in games to get anything going, and then you get in the second half and you stick with it. And even in this drive itself, you see some big runs and then you see some bad runs, you know, where they're not getting much, and you see the ratio there, run to pass 7-2, and it's been a good blend considering the personnel that they have right now on the field.
2nd down and 11. Ball is on the 18 of Tampa Bay. Play action. Here's Rondé Barber. And the pass is incomplete. And Barber trying to get a hand on Fasani, who looked to dump it off to Hoover. And a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Fasani was lucky that wasn't a lateral there. Very close, just parallel to the line of scrimmage. Especially with the Carolina Panthers down here in field goal range with a chance to take the lead. You got to be careful putting the ball in his hands.
Offense. Unnecessary roughness, number 75. 15-yard penalty. It will be 3rd down.
Todd Stussy, you don't often see that kind of a call on that kind of a play on the offense, do you? And now it's going to be a penalty that's going to knock Carolina out of field goal range.
Well, he's going to come in late on this. You take a look at right there, rolls him up, and the play was over when he did that. And we were in the meetings with the officials at the beginning of this season, and they told us that they were going to be looking for those kinds of calls and people coming up around the pile and taking hits, and Todd Stussy got nailed.
That was Darby who just came into the game for McFarland. So the ball is sent back to the 32-yard line.
It's not the first time we've seen that out of Todd Stussy either, though.
26. Fasani with a quarterback draw, and he'll get to the 30-yard line, maybe the 29. Shelton Quarles says, how do you do? And 4th down coming up. Boy, there is no love lost between these two teams, and this has been the case since the start of this game. Maybe because they're in the same division now. Tampa Bay, Carolina, you wouldn't think that'd be the case, but it is.
You know what I think it is? I think Tampa's a little embarrassed right now to be in this ball game with Randy Fasani as quarterback. And I don't mean to insult the kid. I know he's playing as hard as he can, and he's done some good things out here. But this is a game you've got to believe the Buccaneers said, there's no way this Randy Fasani and the Carolina Panthers is going to score any points on us.
Shane Graham from 47 yards. His longest field goal has been from 50. So this is a long attempt for Graham. Shane Graham's kick is good. And the Panthers take a 6-3 lead. And with the confidence they have with the way their defense is playing, I think the fans, sellout crowd, have to feel very good. And it was come up empty today. Keyshawn Johnson has not caught a pass. Been thrown to twice. See what he does this time as Todd Sauerbrunn puts his foot to the ball. And Aaron Stecker returning for the Buccaneers. Stecker with a terrific return out to the 35-yard line. Morgan, who came out with a groin injury, has gone back in at middle linebacker for the Panthers. First down for Rob Johnson and the Bucs on the 35. Has plenty of time, but could not find a receiver, and Chris Jenkins brings him down. Let's see Rob Johnson in his passing by distance thus far.
Yeah, you take a look, and obviously the majority of those passes at 10 yards and less, and made 4 throws from 10 to 19 yards. And it'd be easy to say, well, Rob's not doing his part, but really that's the way John Gruden calls his plays. I mean, a lot of the stuff is the intermediate short throws, and he just does not take a lot of shots up the field.
And that'll go as the sack, the 4th for the Panthers. No gain on the play. Here's Stecker out of the backfield and down at the 42-yard line, picking up 7. And Reggie Howard, the cornerback who returned to the starting lineup today in the secondary for the Panthers, making the tackle. So it'll be 3rd down and 3.
But one of the problems with not throwing the ball down the field is that you give a defense that has been giving up some big plays some confidence. Safety Deion Grant's been beaten by big plays the last 2 weeks. They haven't challenged him once here today.
3rd down and 3. Passing play, and it breaks down, and down goes Rob Johnson. Another sack. Julius Peppers. For Peppers, his 2nd of the day, 9 on the season, and an 8-yard loss, and more furrowed brow for John Gruden on the Tampa Bay sideline.
Well, you see Keyshawn Johnson, 19, running across the field, and that's who Rob Johnson was looking for. And it's zone coverage. You've got to be able to sit down in the hole and give him somewhere to throw the football. And here comes the pressure, and Rob Johnson sacked again.
Tell you, the coverage in the secondary has to be exemplary, giving the line a chance to get, and a flag goes down as Tupa's kick goes out of bounds. Tom Tupa did not go down, but let's see whether the Panthers will be called, and instead it'll be a holding penalty trying to protect against the block. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are penalized. And it may be declined, considering that Tupa's kick went out of bounds, and it would be good field position for Carolina.
Holding by the offense team, the center. The penalty is declined. 1st and 10, Carolina.
Ryan Benjamin, who just joined the team last week as a long snapper, became the long holder here in Charlotte. Enjoying this game.
Bill Clinton's got a little boogie in.
Always has.
You do that. 45-yard line, 1st down, and the pitch to Lamar Smith. Turning the corner, and Smith picking up nearly 9 yards. He averaged nearly 6 yards a carry on that last drive as the Panthers took the lead with a field goal.
Well, I'll tell you what, you look back to last week when the Eagles were playing Tampa Bay and what they were able to do running the football in the second half. And this line gets out there, Jamar Nesbitt and group, they get out and they make some blocks, but you see this Tampa Bay defense starting to wear down a little bit, much like they did last week against Philadelphia.
Great block by Muhsin Muhammad on that one.
Look at the difference in total yards. And we're still in the third quarter. Brad Hoover, with his first carry of the game, will be enough for a Carolina first down. There is no question that the confidence of this team rose appreciably toward the end of the first half, when they knew that they could hold the team even after committing a turnover. And I don't think there'll be any easy offensive scores for the Bucs today.
Well, and I've always said that if you leave a team in a game long enough, at some point every team's going to make a run in the game. And Carolina goes in at halftime and they say, hey, you know, we can play with these guys. Whether they believe it or not coming in, they certainly believed it coming out at halftime.
From the 43, Lamar Smith. They get Brad Hoover for the second straight time. And picking up 3 yards with nearly 5.5 to go in the third quarter. Dick Stockton along with Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth with you. Carolina Panthers getting out of the chute impressively with a 3-0 start, losing 3 heartbreakers and then blown out last week against Atlanta, coming back with a big effort for John Fox on the defensive side and going with a rookie quarterback starting his first game ever. Hoover, the fullback, out to the right. Second down. There's Walls, the tight end, and close to another first down. Right at the sticks is the veteran tight end, John Lynch, making the tackle, and a gain of 7 yards.
And Wesley Walls, he's been banged up for the last couple of years, has finished his season on IR because of his knee, and right now he's playing with a dislocated finger. He's got a splint on it, which has created a lot of problems, but he's a real competitive guy. He comes out, makes a nice catch there with his hands, and by making that reception right there, he ties Jay Novacek with 422 receptions amongst tight ends. And obviously, I've got a great deal of respect for Jay Novacek and know what he means to our offense when I was playing. And Wesley Walls, he's that same kind of player for these Carolina Panthers.
You know, Dan Henning's got a nice little package going now. They run, bootleg out of it just to keep the defense honest enough. But it really has been giving the Buccaneers problems. I don't think the guys on Tampa Bay's defense can believe this is happening to them.
I agree, Chris. They're in a little shell shock situation right now. First down at the 33. Play fake. And there is Fasani, and he can't get it to the open Wesley Walls. Standing all by his lonesome at the 22-yard line. And a flag down. It'll go against Carolina.
I'll tell you, the one thing Fasani did on that play, though, he didn't make the big mistake like he made early in the ball game. You could see him staring at Muhsin Muhammad down the field. He was double covered, and Fasani was desperate to get the ball down there to him, but he held it, then came off late.
Offense, number 87, turned upfield prior to the snap. Penalty is declined. Second down.
You can live with an incomplete pass. You can't live with those big turnovers, though.
And the penalties, and of course you have to figure that Fasani, first week of the regular season, that he has taken virtually all the snaps he did in preseason to a good extent. Those are his numbers. They're not attractive, but his team is up. Smith. Lamar Smith inside the 20. And if it weren't for Ronde Barber, he would have had a lot more. 16 yards for Lamar Smith, and a ball control game to the delight of Rodney Peete and the Panther fans.
Well, you can't help but think about what the Eagles did to this defense running the football, and very reminiscent of that. And Lamar Smith, he's getting up ahead of steam, and he's a very shifty get back. He does a nice job of moving around and making some people miss. And then you take a look at Todd Stussy and Jamar Nesbitt on Warren Sapp. They do a great job against him, keeping him out of the play.
Smith has gained 77 yards on 16 carries, and that was the long one of the day. Fasani on the rollout with the ball under his arm, and he gets clobbered by Nate Webster, and it was hit in the mouth.
Well, and don't forget that Tim Hasselbeck is the backup quarterback here, but Fasani's up, much to the relief of this crowd.
The old linebacker.
Yeah, and Hasselbeck's only been here at practice on this team for a couple of days and literally would just know how to do a handful of plays.
I tell you, he's banged up, though. He took a pretty good shot right there to the head, and he's able to shake it off and get back into the huddle. It'll be interesting now to see what happens here on this next play. You got to be smart, and it's second down, but if you're the play caller, Dan Haney, you got to wonder whether or not you're okay calling a pass play down here if you need to be safe and just hand the ball off.
No standing 8 count in the NFL. Second down and 9. Lamar Smith. And penalty flag down. Smith trying to get to the 10-yard line, and another first down for Carolina. He has been a workhorse and has really done the job of keeping the Panthers in their ball control mode here in the second half. And the flag appears to be against Carolina. John Lynch says we'll take the penalty.
And who would have guessed that the penalties against Carolina's offense would stop them more than
offense.
Right.
Number 45, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
Boy, Jamar Nesbitt, that play, got out in front and just KO'd Nate Webster on this play. Watch number 52. Ding! Now that's the kind of play we're getting out of the Carolina Panthers. You can tell these offensive linemen, they're liking moving forward and not having to pass protect against these Buccaneer pass rushers.
The Panthers have called a timeout under 3 minutes. A look at downtown Charlotte, and here the Panthers with a capacity crowd looking on, leading by a score of 6-3, looking at second down and 19 on Tampa Bay's 27. And here is Nick Goings with his first carry of the game and gets 2 yards.
Take a look at John Fox right here, head coach, talking to Randy Fasani during that TV timeout. And I'll tell you, he has had quite a support network, not only from Fox all week, but also from the rest of the guys on the team. He said Todd Stussy was teasing with him, giving him a hard time, getting him to relax this week, leading up to the ball game. And
third down and 17, 104-0, a shutout in yardage so far in the second half, and they hand off to Goings. And Goings is going to get a couple, bringing up fourth down on the 22. And for a game break, let's check in again with James Brown.
Hey, Dick, while all eyes are on Emmitt Smith, the Cowboys would like to win this one. Take a look at Hutchinson. First career touchdown toss. That one to Joey Galloway, 39 yards. Emmitt Smith, though, take a look, 18 carries, 80 yards, 13 to set a new record. Dick, Troy, and Chris.
Shane Graham, who has kicked a 47-yarder, now will go for 39 yards to extend the Panthers' lead. And here is Shane Graham's kick, and it is good to make the score 9-3. Graham coming in when John Casey went out for the season with a hernia injury. Whatever those notes John Gruden is making, Tampa Bay 9-3, and Lamar Smith gaining 15 yards in that scoring drive. Graham's field goal, the difference, and Mike Allstott, who has yet to carry from the line of scrimmage, has caught 3 passes, is back on the kickoff team, and still with the 0 on the receiving column is Keyshawn Johnson. This is to be Aaron Stecker inside the 5-yard line for Tampa Bay. Stecker tackled at the 28-yard line. Keyshawn Johnson still looking for his first reception of the game. Rob Johnson is 14 of 18 for 103 yards. Most of his passes have been to Juravicius and Stecker, 4 each.
You know, I wonder how excited Keyshawn Johnson is right now as you see Aaron Stecker there on the ground. It looks like he's got cramps, but Keyshawn Johnson, in talking with him right before the game, he said he was really looking forward to working with Rob Johnson. Rob Johnson was a senior at USC when Keyshawn came in as a freshman, and he said, I expect a big game. Expect a big game today because Rob's going to find me, and I don't know that he's too excited right now. I haven't found him yet.
May find him on the team bus.
I tell you what, though, for Rob Johnson, he may not get another opportunity like this. This is his 3rd team, and John Gruden was pretty open about it. Said it's time for him to step up. I've got a lot invested in this, too. I've been training him all week. I'm anxious to see what he can do.
Well, 5 punts and a fumble the last 6 possessions. Certainly not endearing yourself to the coach. And the first carry of the day for Allstott, and he picks up a yard. Keep in mind that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not scored an offensive touchdown in the last 2 weeks. He did not get one against the Eagles, and they do not have one thus far against the Panthers.
Yeah, last year that was known as buck ball. And looks like they're going to buck ball right now. Hand the ball to Allstott and just trying to pound the ball up inside. Maybe try to do a little bit of something like Carolina's doing. Here's Pittman out wide again.
Spreading him out with an empty backfield on 2nd down and 9. Rob Johnson with a quick slant to Juravicius, who leads the team with 5 receptions and slow getting up. He got hit hard, picking up 6 yards. But things really have not changed, whether it's under Tony Dungy and first year under John Gruden. I know it's new here, so he gets some time, but they've been in the 20s.
Yeah, but I think it is a little bit unfair right now to try to draw some comparisons or parallels with what Gruden's doing offensively compared to what Tony Dungy did in that offensive group. And there's no question that in time, John Gruden is going to have a very productive, explosive offense, much like the one he assembled there in Oakland. And he's just going to take some time to get his people in place.
So Juravicius is still shaken up, but talk about bad news for the Bucs, Chris. Anthony McFarland has suffered a fractured forearm. He went out of the game. We saw him, went in for x-rays. This is Juravicius' injury. And McFarland out with a fractured forearm. So when it rains, it pours for the Buccaneers right now.
So many different injuries. Of course, Keenan McCardell already inactivated for this ball game. Now Joe Juravicius down, but probably the biggest injury is the one you were talking about with Booger McFarland, because really since we've seen him go out of the ball game, the Carolina Panthers have had much greater success running the football right at the middle. And when you look at this Buccaneers defense, it is really built around speed. It's Simeon Rice, and it's Warren Sapp and Greg Spires and Shelton Quarles and Derek Brooks. But sometimes when you have guys going right at them and pounding the football right at them the way that Philadelphia did, especially with Booger McFarland out of the ball game, it could be a real issue for this defense.
Well, I know when we were talking earlier about Tampa Bay offensively not getting the ball down the field, and a big reason for that is because they don't really have anybody speed-wise that can threaten them. Losing Juravicius, now having to go with Barlow, that's even going to hurt them more.
3rd down and 3. Reggie Barlow, of course, replaces Juravicius, who goes out. And here's Johnson again. Protection breaks down. Receivers are covered, and Rob Johnson has to go out of bounds, but takes a hit. Terry Cousin, the cornerback. And he appears to be the player shaken up.
Well, sometimes even the officials get in on the defense when things are going poorly. Keyshawn Johnson knocked off his route, and Rob Johnson really never even planted his back foot before he started to try and scramble out of the play. And one of the things that we've gotten out of Rob Johnson over the years is when he starts to get a little flustered or things aren't going well, he's getting out of that pocket.
And the official that he ran into is the umpire, and that's where they position that umpire. And there's been some controversy in the NFL as to where that guy should be. With more and more of these West Coast style attacks, the umpire is becoming more a factor on those crossing routes. They're trying to get him back there lined up where the referee stands behind the quarterback.
Well, both Terry Cousin and Rob Johnson were shaken up, but Rob Johnson is the one you want to look at because he is the quarterback starting today. Brad Johnson did not feel well, went into the locker room suffering the fractured rib, unable to play today. Sean King, of course, is ready to go if anything happens to Rob Johnson.
And Brad Johnson is probably sitting over there saying, see what it's been like out there?
And the one thing about it on that last play, you're not going to be able to pick up the first down, get out of bounds, save the hit on yourself. Instead, he takes a big hit. You see Sean King there. He led the team to the NFC Championship game his rookie year. He's led this team further than any of the quarterbacks that are on the squad now.
Very nearly beat the Rams in that championship game. 5 seconds to go, and Tom Tupa will kick. So 4 straight 3-and-outs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, and they're going to let the clock run down. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter here in Charlotte. With the score, the Carolina Panthers 9, the Tampa Buccaneers 3. The NFL on Fox will continue after a word.
And by Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme. It's chicken at a higher level.
Todd Sauerbrunn with a great punt. Underestimated. I said 56. It was a 66-yard punt. And the Bucs on their own 36. 4 3-and-outs the last 4 times they've had the ball. And here's Michael Pittman picking up about 7 yards on first down. Dan Morgan the tackle.
Big pressure coming from Jack Golden on this play. And punting out of your own end zone, obviously you got to hustle this thing up, and to drill that thing actually went 75 yards in the air, and to be able to flip the field position there and give your defense a chance. Huge play in the ball game.
A great job by that coverage team getting down there, making a tackle, and not giving him a long run on the return.
2nd down and 4, and Rob Johnson going downfield for Reggie Barlow, and well covered by Terry Cousin. Barlow, of course, hasn't played in the last couple of years. He has been on injured reserve the last year with the Oakland Raiders.
Terry Cousin doing a nice job. We talked earlier about the inability of the Buccaneers to get the ball down the field, and now what you're seeing out of the Panthers is a lot more aggressiveness coming up, playing the bump and run, bringing the safeties up to help against the run.
3rd down and 4, and the crowd cheering for John Fox's defense. Here's Rob Johnson, has time, and passes complete, and a 1st down to Reggie Barlow. And good coverage that time by Reggie Howard, and he has protection there.
Yeah, and it's amazing what you can do when you have time to throw the football. You see the pocket form right there. Gives him a place to step up and throw the football. Nice 3rd down conversion there, and they get an opportunity for 3 more downs.
And we understand that Emmitt Smith has broken Walter Payton's record and is the all-time leading rusher. 1st and 10. For the Buccaneers. Swinging out to Pittman, and a great hit, incomplete pass. And it was Terry Cousin who was shaken up on his collision with Rob Johnson on the last possession. Loses his helmet momentarily after the crunching hit to Michael Pittman and gets a standing O.
I'll tell you what, I think that Michael Pittman's going to tell him to shelve that audible. That's the 2nd time in the ball game we've seen Rob Johnson, and that is an incomplete pass, not a fumble. 2nd time, though, we have seen him go to that audible, and the 2nd time we've seen the running back get blown up.
He's not going to have receivers going out trying to make catches when you expose them like that. Roll corner.
Cousin goes out of the game. 2nd down and 10, and the pass, and a lofting catch by Ken Dilger. Great touch by Rob Johnson, and a 22-yard gain will quiet the crowd. And they covered Dilger as well as you could want, with Fields and Dion Grant on the tackle.
Well, Dilger just running a seam route, and Rob Johnson makes a nice throw here. Dilger's actually been doing a nice job of getting open throughout most of the day. He hasn't had many opportunities with the balls being thrown his way, but does a nice job of going up and making the catch.
So Dilger with a big catch, 22 yards, 1st down for the Buccaneers. On the Panthers 32, Aaron Stecker giving ground and losing. Making the tackle, Chris Jenkins, and right now let's go to James Brown. JB, take it away.
All right, Dick, take a look at it. Here it is. History being made at the 9:28 mark of the 4th. Emmitt Smith, look at that run. If he had kept his feet, would have been even better, but nonetheless, he set the record. A happy teammate, ex-teammate Michael Irvin cheering him on, along with the all assembled there at Texas Stadium. Emmitt Smith, now the NFL's all-time career rushing leader. Back to Dick, Troy, and Chris.
Great moment, Troy.
Absolutely. I was happy to be a part of some of it over the course of his career.
Rob Johnson to Barlow. Incomplete. Mike Minter. Wow. This is a crunching Carolina defense.
Oh my gosh, we've seen 2 of the biggest hits we've seen all year during the course of this drive. What a shot by Mike Minter.
And win or lose, Tampa Bay is going to leave this city with a lot of respect for the Panthers.
Boy, absolutely perfectly thrown by Rob Johnson, and Mike Minter, the only chance he had on that one was to knock the ball out of there, and delivers a huge blow. And remember, Mike Minter last week tore his bicep muscle. A lot of guys wouldn't even have played in this ball game here today. And Mike Minter, what a shot, and what a game-changing shot that was. And
remember, Tampa Bay cannot challenge any more plays. They ran out of challenges in the 1st half.
Yeah, and I don't know that they could really overturn this call anyway, because you've got to maintain possession even after you hit the ground. Ball clearly comes out, but There was nobody holding the safety there, Mike Minner, and so he's got a free shot here at Barlow, and he lays it on him. You see right here, the ball comes out when he hits the ground. It wouldn't have been overturned even if they could challenge.
Terry Cousin back in the secondary, 3rd and 12. Johnson, pass deflected at the line. Brenson Buckner, and this crowd getting a treat today. Underdogs against John Gruden's Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming off a 30-0 loss to Atlanta a week ago and leading the Bucs 9-3 with their defense and a rookie quarterback.
And I tell you what, Martin Gramatica has had his problems. He made one kick today, but only 2 of his last 6 coming into this ballgame. They've had troubles with snaps, with holds, and with misses.
This will be a 52-yard attempt. And Gramatica's kick good, 52 yards for the struggling Martin Gramatica, and it is now 9-6. So Smith, bothered by cramps, still on the sidelines. And here is Bird with his first return of the day from the 8-yard line and buried at the 24 by Ryan Neese. Well, Carolina played well so far, but it's a 60-minute game, and their lead is 3.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Plenty of time remaining, and the Carolina Panthers, who've done a great job defensively, but cannot afford any mistakes on the offensive side with the rookie quarterback at the helm. First down at the 24-yard line, and the handoff to Lamar Smith, who's had a big game for a couple of yards. Well, the big story today around the NFL is Emmitt Smith and what he achieved, the leading rusher of all time.
You see the shirt right there. Emmitt sent that actually to me last night when I got here to the hotel. And you know, when Emmitt joined the Cowboys, you didn't obviously know that he would go on to become the NFL all-time rushing leader. But I would say that about 4 years ago, we did know it. I mean, you just knew that it was going to happen. He was going to stay healthy, and he was going to continue to produce it the way that he has. And my hat's off to Emmitt Smith and the job that he's done, and what a great career he's had.
2nd down and 9. Pisani incomplete. And for a game break, let's check in again with James Brown.
Hey, Dick, Troy, and Chris, take a look at Emmitt adding to another record he already has, that being the career rushing touchdowns. There is number 150. He's at 109 yards rushing on the day. Shares the moment with one of his ex-teammates, Michael Irvin. And after that emotional embrace, he goes over to share it with the guy who's blocked for so many of those touchdowns, Darryl Johnston. Troy knows it all too well. Back to Dick, Troy, and Chris.
So not only you get the records, but you get the rings. 3 of them for all you guys, huh?
Well, that's what you play for. That really is all that matters.
3rd and 9, Pisani. And it is intercepted by Brian Kelly. So Pisani picked off for the 2nd time. Lynch earlier. And Brian Kelly right here. And that's what the Panthers have to also worry about, and that is mistakes by the offense. And they made one here, giving Tampa Bay the ball back.
And the momentum is clearly shifted in this ball game now. Andy Pisani trying to squeeze one in down the field, and just all the way across the field. Absolutely no prayer that that one was going to get in there. Couldn't tell if Brian Kelly maybe stepped out of bounds right before he came back in to make the interception. If he did, that would have been an illegal touch.
9:09 to go, first down. Buccaneers in Panther territory. Rob Johnson completes to Wesley Walls for a 5-yard gain. Minter on the tackle. The interception by Kelly was his second in as many weeks.
Yeah, and Brian Kelly had probably his best game as a pro last week against Philadelphia, and he comes right back this week and makes an impact play right there to set up this great field position for his offense.
2nd and 5 at the 44. Delay handoff to Stecker. Aaron Stecker dragged down before he could get to the first down by Martin Fields. Returning to the lineup with Dan Morgan with a groin injury, and a good first down saving tackle by Fields.
And this really is a huge play in the ball game right here now, because if the Buccaneers can pick up a first down, they can get themselves back into field goal range at least. And with the way the momentum has shifted in this ball game, should it go into at least overtime, you got to like where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are.
They got Jameel Cook and Mike Allstott lining up behind Rob Johnson on 3rd down and 1. And here's Allstott. Changes direction, and he may have enough for the first down. Good cutback by Allstott.
You remember last time earlier in the game, they had this similar situation. They came out and they tried to throw the football. Here they go to the big guy, Mike Allstott. He basically was a little bit stopped there short of the first down, but because of his ability to move his feet, keep him turning, gets the first down.
Plus the quickness, you know, the initial cut here. He sees an angle. Aren't many guys that weigh 250 pounds can make that cut.
First down, Allstott going to the sideline. Michael Pittman is the running back. Ball at the 38 of Carolina. Barlow coming in motion, and the slant, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Reggie Howard. The pass was off the back of Cousin, and Howard picked it off, and the Panthers get it back, and a big break for them.
Terry Cousin dropping back right underneath the route here. The ball's going to hit him in the back and pop up in the air so that Reggie Howard can make the interception. And just a play that you can't have happen to you down here. They've tried to force the ball in there to Keyshawn Johnson. Rob Johnson locked in and just didn't look off him. No way he should have tried that throw.
Yeah, and Terry Cousin in that position, based on how he was turning and bailing, Rob Johnson should not have had any problem seeing him underneath that route.
And the turnovers are all even. And the Panthers get the ball back. And a timeout. Carolina hits their second. Reminder, Game 7 of what has been really one of the exciting World Series of recent years tonight on Fox. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. San Francisco Giants, Anaheim Angels. Angels have never won a World Series. Giants have not won since 1954. So the Bucs could not take advantage of the interception by Kelly, and now the Panthers with a first down at the 32. Steve Smith back in the game, and the handoff to Lamar Smith, and not much there.
It is time for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, as if they haven't taken over the game already, to just try and come up with a huge play. Obviously, this offense is not going to be able to get it done. So now you're going to have to look at Monty Kiffin and his defense to get some kind of a turnover, get some sort of an interception, a run back. They have to score points on the defensive side because of how inept they've been on the offensive side.
And the question as to whether the momentum has changed back to Carolina will depend on whether they can pick up a couple of first downs here with 6:15 remaining here in the fourth.
But even if they don't, the field position is such they can punt the ball away and make the Bucs go the long way, and they haven't been able to do that either.
And the handoff to Lamar Smith, and the Buccaneers closing down, 1 yard on the play. 3rd down and 8 coming up with under 6 minutes to go in the fourth.
And I think this is going to be an interesting play coming up. 3rd and long. Chances aren't real good. 3rd and long, you're going to convert those for first downs. But do you take a chance here? Do you allow Fasani to try to pick up the first down? Or do you play it safe? And like Chris said, if you don't make it on the ground or something short and conservative, punt them and make them go the long road.
Fasani has thrown for 38 yards today.
And 2 interceptions. No way he throws the ball if I'm calling this one.
He's getting the play clock right now. It's at 19 seconds, and he's standing there. He's going to milk this play clock as far down as what he can. And he's going to throw the ball, take off, and tackle. No harm
done. Greg Spires makes the stop. They used up a lot of time with the play clock, and then
Well, it's a really good play by Greg Spires at the top there, 94. Jamar Nesbitt's going to come out off gap counter action protection, and when Fasani starts running up inside there, Spires peels off the block and makes the play.
I tell you what, that was a huge play by Spires too, because it looked like he had some room to run.
Former Cleveland Brown, now a new defensive end for the Buccaneers. So Todd Sauerbrunn, who got off a 66-yard punt the last time. And not bad here. Carl Williams backing up to his 20. And he is stopped at the 23-yard line with 4:15 to go in the fourth. Bill O'Reilly tackles the Rolling Stones, legends, myths, real-life stories. The crazy ride to superstardom. He lived it, and now he tells it all. Bill Wyman on the next O'Reilly Factor. It's news as a contact sport on the Fox News channel. Check your local listing.
You know, on that last punt, it looked like John Howell for Tampa Bay may have had an opportunity to, he got close anyway to block that punt.
Keyshawn continues to be shut out, though. If you're Rob Johnson, you have to be careful not to try and force it in like he did last time. If other guys are open, you've got to work them.
Buccaneers start from the 24. And Rob Johnson gets away from a sack, and his pass is thrown away. Good pressure by Carolina's defense. They've been relentless all day long.
Well, and it's the way that it's gone today for Tampa Bay. Keyshawn Johnson is going to get wide open here. You see him, there's nobody there. He's running down the middle of the field all by himself. But because of the pressure that Rob Johnson gets there, Hannibal Navies comes in the middle unblocked, and there's just nobody in the interior line there. Chris Jenkins watches him run by and missed a golden opportunity to get a touchdown there.
Second down and 10. The pitch to Stecker. Stecker picks up about 3 as we have 4 minutes to go. Fields has played a big game today, coming back to the linebacking core for Carolina on the play. Third down and 7. Buccaneers offense has not scored a touchdown in the last 8 quarters. Talk about a drought. And Johnson goes down. Brenson Buckner. They smothered Rob Johnson, and a loss of 6 yards, and that is the 6th sack of the game for the Carolina Panther defense, and they came in leading the NFL in that department.
Brenson Buckner, the old veteran, right off the nose, jumped it absolutely perfectly, if not a second early, but the officials didn't call it, and now the Buccaneers no choice but to punt the ball away. They do have 3 timeouts remaining, however.
I was looking for the flag. I thought he jumped offside. Was a little early on that, but he didn't get the call.
Tupa, who lived off the field before, apparently feeling all right now, and Steve Smith loses the ball. Steve Smith loses it, and this could be a big play.
I think Tampa's got it, Dick.
Boy, oh boy, if you're John Fox, you're sitting there saying, I've got this thing wrapped up. I just need 1 first down. And one of the best punt returners in all of football gives it right back.
Tampa ball. Buccaneers get it back.
Wow. Well, we talked about some of the games that they've been in and the games that they've lost. This is another example of that. When the game comes down to the wire, they've not been able to make the plays to finish. You're right. Steve Smith has got to be able to make that catch. It looked like his eyes come off the ball just as it's coming into his arms.
He never really had control. That was a muff punt. Stecker had a chance and lost it, and Aaron Stecker got it back. So Aaron Stecker gets it back for the Buccaneers, who recover on the Panthers' 42-yard line. And when Smith walked off the field, John Fox didn't want to look his way. 3:01. Johnson on a messed up play. And goes out of bounds for a game break. Once again, here's James Brown.
Hey, fellas, take a look at Michael Vick. I mean, how fast is he? Look, nothing's there, so he decides to take it. Dick, look at how easy he makes it look. 4.2 speed, 32 yards to pay dirt. Atlanta on top, 34-25 in the fourth. Back to Dick, Troy, and Chris.
Boy, he has become a spectacular attraction as down on the field is Sean Gilbert as Michael Vick every week, it seems now.
Well, they made it even look easier last week against this Carolina defense, and you're right. He's as talented a runner as there is at that position in this league. Maybe you could argue the best runner in football.
He looked like you scrambling a little bit.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
The Carolina defensive line.
You know, the one thing we talked to some of the Buccaneers offensive players, and they said Rob Johnson, during the course of practice, actually had some problems calling the plays, that he wasn't quite in sync with what they were doing on offense. Maybe just a blown call on that last one, but a big first down play.
Second down and 8 on the Panther 40. And Roman Oben, the left tackle, backing up. And this will apparently roll against
offense, number 72.
Well,
5-yard penalty. Still second down.
I'll tell you, if nothing else, he had great technique here. I mean, he got out of there pretty good. And
he looked like Flipper going backwards.
Yeah, look at Fox's reaction. And yeah, I don't know if Rob Johnson there was trying to use hard count or not. Hopefully he was not. When it gets this loud in the stadium, it is very hard for those tackles on the outside to hear.
Second and 13 after the penalty. Johnson, and Johnson gets it out to Ken Bilger, and the tight end stopped a yard short of the first down inside the 35 by Mike Minter, and Emmanuel McDaniel gets 12 of those 13 back. Carolina's defense coming in not as highly regarded as Tampa Bay, but they wanted to prove a point that their defense deserves to be ranked in that category, and I think they proved that point, Troy.
Well, I think they did, and I think any defense that comes into a ball game when they're getting ready to play Tampa Bay, I think they want to prove, hey, the Buccaneer defense is not the only great defense on the field, and Carolina proved that today.
Third down and 1. Handoff, and Mike Olstad on a sloppy handoff from Rob Johnson will lose yards. It's 2 yards back to the 35.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Dick. I mean, 2 plays earlier, they miss a handoff on first down. Rob Johnson does, and so he has to scramble for it. And then here on third down, the ball handling should be second nature. They can't even make a handoff.
2 minutes remaining in the fourth.
Fox NFL Sunday.
Looks like Rob Johnson gets stepped on as he tries to take the snap and make the handoff to Olstad, but really somebody needs to put a 10 over this circuit for this drive for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They catch a huge break, recover the fumble, and then do that with 3 plays.
Martin Gramatica, who connected on a 52-yard attempt early in the fourth, will try one from 53, looking to tie the game for Tampa Bay. Tupa is the holder. And Gramatica's kick straight down the middle, and it is good to tie it up at 9. So in a game of field goals, Gramatica has 3 and Shane Graham has 3 with 1:55 remaining in the fourth. Making amends for his recent struggles, Martin Gramatica with 2 field goals beyond 50. And it was Steve Smith who bobbled the punt, allowing Tampa Bay to get in position to tie the game at 9. And the kickoff into the hands of Steve Smith at the 5. And Smith is down short of the 25-yard line. With 1:50 on the clock, Carolina has 1 timeout left. Tampa Bay has all 3 of theirs. And the shaken up on the play is Ryan Neese, the rookie from UCLA.
And I think the bigger issue is this one right here. Tampa Bay with 3 timeouts in this ball game, because I just don't believe that with Randy Fasani, you're going to feel too comfortable dropping back and throwing the ball. So far in the day, he's 4 for 15, 38 yards, and 2 interceptions. Of course, I saw Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I wasn't so sure he was going to get a chance either. He did, and he came through. So, but a very difficult situation right now for the Carolina Panthers.
And all they're looking to do, hopefully, some ways to get into field goal range for Shane Graham. So they don't have to go the length of the field. But they have only 1 timeout left. And Tampa Bay will use timeouts on defense to get the ball back. First down, handoff, Lamar Smith. Nothing doing. And the Bucs call a timeout quickly.
And Carolina, they've got to go about 45 yards in order to get in position to attempt a field goal. And they cannot just run the football like this, especially when you're running right into the middle. This is a strength of this Tampa Bay defense. And earlier they tried it. They have not had as much success the last few times they've done it. Tampa Bay clearly knows the situation in this ball game and what Carolina's going to do as far as running the football. And Fasani is going to have to make some plays here in order to get him down the field and give him a shot. And basically, the Buccaneers are daring Randy Fasani to throw the football. They've got 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers, with John Lynch essentially taking in there as the 4th linebacker. They don't believe that Dan Henning is going to put the football in Randy Fasani's hand at this point. And the other thing is, if they can get 1 first down here, then they can make it go into overtime and then try to do what they want to do offensively. Lynch right there.
Second down and 11. Fasani in trouble. Fires it incomplete, intended for Brad Hoover. So the Buccaneers do not have to use a timeout here.
And that's really the key point, because this is a situation, the crowd boos, a lot of pressure on Dan Henning to try and open it up and make some plays, but you're also playing right into the hands of the Tampa Bay defense here. Now, not only are they probably going to get the football back, they're going to get the football back with at least 1 timeout, and if you throw it again here, they'll get it back with 2 timeouts.
Jeff Mitchell, the center, is out of the game, and Geno Jones, number 78, replaces Mitchell. And Geno James has come in, and a timeout called by Carolina.
Well, that's interesting. They just ran the clock down as far as they could run it down and then called their own timeout. Well, everything that you would want to have happen is happening, and I guess...
You know, you take a look there at Rodney Peete. He hurt his knee and had surgery, went down in the Dallas ball game. They wound up losing that one, and he's done a heck of a job. I mean, he had not really thrown the football much since '98, played a little bit in '99, and then comes here, and they thought he'd be a backup to Chris Winkie, and they're going to get him back after their bye week. They think he'll be playing here in a couple of weeks, and he's done a heck of a job for this ball club.
I think they had to take that time out because Jamar Nesbitt had to move to center when Jeff Mitchell got hurt.
Third down and 11. 1:37 to go. And they're going to put it in the air. Brad Hoover. And Hoover is stopped short of the first down by 4 yards. And 4th down coming up.
You know, they don't get the first down there, but I like what Randy Fasani did. He didn't see anything down the field. He takes a completion, which forces Tampa Bay to use a timeout. Now they can punt the ball, and they're just going to hope that the Carolina defense can hold them.
Tampa Bay will have 1 timeout left when they get the ball. They have not been a impressive offensive team today, but remember, for Tampa Bay, all they need to do is to get it in the range of Martin Gramatica, who has connected on 2 long field goals here in the second half from 52 and 53 yards. So he's feeling good about themselves, and John Gruden obviously has confidence in him as well.
Well, plus you put yourself in a position where your defense might be able to win the game. If all of a sudden Rob Johnson's dropping back and he makes a big mistake, you might be able to win it that way.
Sauerbrunn will kick it away, and Carl Williams back deep for the Buccaneers. Fair catch called by Williams at the 28. So the situation, 1 minute, 20 seconds to go. And Rob Johnson, in his first start in a Tampa Bay uniform, coming on the Buccaneers. who led 3-0, have trailed all the way until this 9-9 tie.
And I think this is the situation that when you haven't been playing, you're less versed on 2-minute offense. You don't get a whole lot of opportunities when you're the starter, let alone when you're the backup quarterback. And there's plenty of time here, 1 minute and 20 seconds. He's got one timeout. See how he conducts the 2-minute mechanics here.
Rob Johnson, short drop. Keyshawn Johnson with his first catch of the game and a first down to the 40-yard line.
That was the same route that the interception took place on earlier when it bounced off Terry Cousins' back. That time, no one in the lane. Keyshawn's able to make the reception.
Tampa Bay with one timeout left, picking up 12 on first down. And Rob Johnson trying to escape danger here and fires it to Keyshawn Johnson, and he makes the catch short of the first down at the 49-yard line of Tampa Bay as the clock stops with 53 seconds to go as Johnson went out of bounds.
And Keyshawn Johnson doing a great job getting his feet down. Looks like he did. Nice play, but that play really made by Rob Johnson. We've criticized some of his mistakes today, but he was Houdini back there in the pocket that time, getting away and making that one happen down the field.
53 seconds on the clock. 2nd and 1, and this is upstairs where the replay review is
reviewing
taking
the play
place.
on the field.
Question is, did Keyshawn have both feet in bounds when he made the reception?
It looked like he did, as Chris pointed out. And to comment on Rob Johnson there, and you're right. I mean, quarterbacks are living on the edge in the pocket as to when to get rid of the football, when to know how to avoid the pass rush. Right there, that was close to being a disaster. He was being pursued and could have very easily had the ball knocked out. And here's Keyshawn on the reception, and one's down there, and it's just a question of whether or not he drugged that foot. Ooh. And they ruled him in. I don't see anything there that would suggest that he did not drag that foot. So I don't think it's conclusive enough for them to overturn it.
Wow, that's
We're reviewing the play to see if the receiver had both feet down prior to going out of bounds.
I thought his toe had dragged going out of bounds. Keyshawn looks comfortable. He's looking for the next play call. But it did look like that left foot was off the ground. And then as he tried to stab it back in the ground, it happened right on the line. But Troy, you make a good point. It really has to be conclusive for them to overturn anything. And that was tough to see.
And so many times you're at the mercy of whatever the call was made by the official. And in this case, the official makes it a reception. And I know that they're very reluctant to overturn. In fact, they will not overturn it unless it is conclusive evidence that suggests that they should.
Catch now.
It looks like the toe came down there. That's great work by our cameraman.
Yeah, I think blowing up the feet show that Keyshawn Johnson got his toe in at least enough not to turn it around, as you say, indisputable visual evidence not to turn it around.
Did you guys think the toe was on the ground as he caught it, or he got it back on the ground?
I just think the toe was in. I don't know. I just
That'll way to bail.
After reviewing the play, the call on the field is confirmed. The receiver had the right foot down and drug his left toe while in possession of the ball. It is a completed pass.
I would say dragged, as a matter of fact. I mean, I know people would say he drug his toe, but I'm going to say dragged his toe.
Sounds good to me. Drag, drug, it was in.
2nd down and 1, 53 seconds on the clock. Remember, all the Bucs need to do is get in range for a field goal.
About 15 yards here, Dick.
Need to get it to about the 35. And the pitch to Pittman, turning the corner, first down for Tampa Bay. And he gets out of bounds at the 45 of Carolina. Under a minute to go here in the 4th quarter at Carolina. The Panthers starting a rookie quarterback, Randy Fasani, against Rob Johnson in his first start. And Tampa Bay and Carolina in a defensive and field goal battle are tied 9-9. And right now the Buccaneers with a first down on the 45 of Carolina with 48 seconds to go in regulation. And this pass caught by Barlow. Reggie Barlow makes the reception near the 40, inside the 40.
And that was a heck of a throw right there by Rob Johnson. Reggie Barlow running an out route. Good coverage, actually, by Reggie Howard, but Barlow's able to get a little separation, just enough. Rob Johnson fits it in there.
Martin Gramatica has made 2 field goals from beyond 50. They're trying to get it in that position as Rob Johnson throws it away with 21 seconds on the clock.
And I think that's the Rob Johnson that we probably would not have seen a year ago. Great job on his part, not having anything down the field and just unloading it, knowing that he still got another down to pick up the first.
And they still have another timeout as well, so they could even afford to run the football here if they thought that that would help. They need probably 3 or 4 yards to put it in Gramatica range.
Right now it would be a 57-yard attempt. His career distance is 55. 3rd down and 5. Make it 3rd and 4. Flag is down, and the play clock ran down.
Oh my goodness!
This is
the game.
What a mistake!
This is the worst penalty. 5 yards.
21 seconds.
John Gruden is sick.
This is the worst scenario for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
There is absolutely no excuse for that to happen. Rob Johnson.
Game clock, 3:21 seconds.
Rob Johnson has got to know the situation in the ball game. You cannot take that penalty, and even if it means calling timeout, you've got to do it.
Still 3rd and 5. They need about 10 yards.
And now they have to throw the football to try and pick it up. And don't forget, this Carolina pass rush has been after Rob Johnson all day.
3rd down and 9 at the 45. Pressure on Rob Johnson. And Johnson getting away. Directing traffic. And Rob Johnson running for the sticks. And apparently has the first down. At the 35-yard line with 14 seconds left. Rob Johnson running for the first down, and he may have aggravated what could be a hamstring or a leg, and the play clock is running now. They're at 25. Tampa Bay has 1 timeout remaining. And Rob Johnson and Sean King is coming into the game at quarterback.
Well, they're at 13 seconds on the play clock. They don't want to get into another situation like they just did. They've got to run a play. If it's me, you just spike the ball.
King is not spiking it. He completes it to Carl Williams, who goes out of bounds with 10 seconds to go. And the ball at the 29-yard line, and they're going to send in Martin Gramatica to try to win it right now.
Well, Rob Johnson's mobility has been a big factor in this final drive. He makes the big mistake, allows the play clock to run out, but then makes up for it, scrambling out of the pocket, picking up the first down. And how about Sean King coming in, cool as a cucumber, and completing that pass to make this field goal a whole lot shorter.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing. When this game's over and you look at the ball game and what happened, Sean King's completion there won't be played up enough.
A 47-yard attempt to try to win it for the Buccaneers. And here's Gramatica's kick. It's straight, it's true, and it's good. And Tampa Bay with a 12-9 lead and 5 seconds left.
Well, John Gruden's running out on the field, as is everybody else for the Buccaneers, and there's still 5 seconds left on the clock. This game's not over. I don't see a flag. I'm surprised the officials did not throw the flag for celebrating out on the field.
You would have had to have watched the entire ball game here today to know just how improbable it was that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to come back and win this game. Inept the entire day on offense, and yet when it was time to deliver, Rob Johnson finding a way to break John Fox's heart once again.
Well, what about Sean King and his courage in his one play?
Well, he comes in. He didn't have much time to loosen up, and he comes out and just throws a strike. That's tremendous savvy right there with the clock running down and not spiking, and instead getting the ball outside and out of bounds.
And John Gruden's reaction to the field goal, 3 by Martin Gramatica. 52, 53, and 47 yards in the second half in a game that has had no touchdowns today, and what appears to be for the Carolina Panthers on the brink of yet another heartbreaking defeat. They have seen this before, Chris.
Dick, sometimes during a championship season, you have to win a game you're not supposed to win, and this one definitely qualifies.
Clock won't start, and it goes out of bounds. So now the Panthers will get the ball on the 40-yard line as Gramatica kicked the ball out of bounds.
Out of bounds. By rule, the ball is placed at the 40-yard line. First down, Carolina.
Regardless of wherever the ball was going to be, the only chance right now that Carolina has is throwing a Hail Mary and hoping they're not going to be able to throw it all the way into the end zone. They've got to hope for a completion and then a little trickery of getting the ball back to somebody else and letting him run in.
I just don't think Randy Pisani has the arm strength to get it into the end zone from here. There are probably a handful of quarterbacks that might be able to do it, but 60-plus yards, probably too far for Pisani.
Tampa Bay has called their last timeout. 5 seconds to go, and you say it's a Hail Mary, and you're not going to get it in the end zone, and the only thing that could ever save Carolina would be a pass interference call, setting up a field goal, and you know Tampa Bay isn't going to go near the ball.
Right. They just, well, they don't call it. If you're throwing a ball on a Hail Mary, I've never seen anybody call pass interference, so you're not going to get that. But, you know, it's just unfortunate that somebody has to lose a game like this, and both defenses did such a great job. Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator for Carolina, and Monty Kiffin with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense, and two great defensive football teams.
Rob Johnson, his numbers, Fasani in his debut, Keyshawn with 2 catches, great defense, and this is going to be a tough loss for Jerry Richardson, the outstanding owner of this Carolina franchise, who is home watching this game, coming home after quadruple bypass surgery, but he knows he has a team on the rise from last year's 1-15 team. Final seconds being ticked off, and Fasani fires it. No time left, and the pass is intercepted by John Lynch, and the game is over.